Yeah, I'll just keep this like a private video unless I get an okay on this one. I'm not really gonna send it out. If I get an okay, I'll go ahead and send it out. It it's hard not to be a little depressed, depressed when all of a sudden you find out that the prostate is all the way up to 103, fourth stage, and then someone describes the prostate to you and says that normally prostate is around 22 cc's, and 22 cc's looks like a walnut. It's like a walnut. This sits around the urethra. Where the urine comes from the bladder and goes, that canal, or that vein, you could say, the prostate is sitting on top of it. And its inner skin is very, actually, it's like a sponge. So, you know how a sponge is. You squeeze a sponge and liquid can come out. So, that is what is producing the actual sperm. It's not the lubrication. The cowperm is producing a lubrication, but it's more of a clear substance, where the actual sperm is like a milky substance, and it should be liquidy. Yeah. Blood pressure goes up, and all of a sudden I start bleeding. What can I say? In other words, you got to be calm. Always be calm. Yeah. So back to the prostate. Got to talk about it. So the sponge has not allowed the fluid to keep on going through. So of course it just enlarges and enlarges and enlarges because it's not allowing. So pardon me, but many of the religions, they don't consider it, uh, as we consider it. The loss of semen for us is like loss of life. Of course, even when I was a child, I didn't like the loss of semen because I was thinking that could have been a baby, and that's actually how you should think. It's like wasting. It's like throwing. An entity could have taken birth, and I wasn't even a Hare Krishna, but I just felt like this is horrible because it's going out and it's getting wasted. It's not being used. It's not taking birth like me. So so for ourselves, we don't like to waste such a thing. But other religions, they even feel like that if you don't have some sexual relationship with the wife, you have to have physical sex or some relationship with the wife in that way, then your family love is not up to par. Not up to par. So some men are feeling so bad. Oh, I can't. It, for me, I'm sorry. I have to laugh. Oh, I can't have an erection. So what? What's the big deal? No, it's a big deal for me. Like, it's no big deal. And I've been wearing this catheter catheter for about 9 years, and there's no rising, no nothing like that, because it's in there, the tube's in there. I, it isn't gonna. It almost feels like good, Yeah, you're not gonna lose semen. Whereas other religions, they think it's bad. It's not that they just think it's all right, but they think it's bad if you don't, you know. Oh my God. Sorry that their religious uh, thoughts are too much. But I gotta be on the side of Einstein. He thought, he was Jewish, and he thought the Jewish were the most foolish people in considering their religion and their religious beliefs and everything, and their what they call religious knowledge. He thought it was the most foolish thing that he has ever heard. So there's a video about it. Yeah. So getting back to the problem, mine is not just a walnut size. Mine is and it's not a Indian lemon is even smaller than a walnut generally. So they just described it as a lemon, a regular lemon size. So, and it's not as big as a lemon that you find in California. Those lemons are really big, but just a normal sized lemon. So a normal sized lemon. So instead of being like a walnut, it's about 5 times more because it's at 103. So somebody's sleeping. Somebody is not on the job. Now I know that I have not opened the canal for this energy of the prostate to go up the spine. I have not opened that canal up, nor is it feasible for me to think of it ever opening up in this lifetime, because where the canal parts, I took the motion of discharge and not the motion of going up the spine. So, for all practical purposes, the way to the spine is not open. It's just not open. So, at one point, the liquid within the prostate, it some way has to move. It can't be there all the time, and it's always producing it. So it can't be there stagnant. So that is why, and I can understand, that is why many of the urologists, they say that masturbation is good for you. That's why they say that, because there's no other way out for them thinking that any liquid is going to go through the prostate. But with a little prayer and a little bit of yoga or something like that, it can be done. Yeah, it can be done. So, there's the point. For those men that their prostate is enlarged, know it for sure that the liquid is not moving. For some, they're just going to go crazy masturbating. sorry, it's like for me, it's like it's out, it's way out there. That doesn't really help. That doesn't really help, because sometimes the prostate is not putting out the liquid into the into the ejaculation. Sometimes it's not there. Sometimes it's almost clear. I've seen it come out just clear, and no smell in it. Like that Clorox smell, because it's at 7.4 alkalinity. All our blood is 7.3. It's 7.4. But that little bit of a difference gives it a certain smell to it. So, just talking about these things, some people are going to, what do you call it? Give it a check. Very sexual, very sexual. They won't see the reason why for it. It's like, but The important thing is that liquid's got to move. And in me, the liquid's not moving. I've been sitting, you can say, I've been sitting on my ass, not doing anything about it because I didn't know. But I thought it was so great, that when you do have your system running, when your system is actually running normally and everything, whenever you go through a state of anger, a state of lust, or a state of disease, there's a certain smell that comes in the underarm. Well, that smell was, in my youth was a lot there. But now, none. None. It's like almost a little bit of a smell, and that's it. So I said, now I can see, I can detect that my prostate is not working. It's not pushing any liquid out. I'm not even getting any interference over here with the bad smell. But the bad smell is supposed to attract this bad smell is supposed to attract the opposite sex. That's why it's there. So, it's got its reasons. God didn't make anything without a reason. No bad smell, no movement. And I'm sitting here like, what the heck can I do? So I was one time visiting us, a person from Patanjali. He's called Divya Swami. He's like the second in charge. He's goes from the Gurukula on the other side of India and sees how it's running, and he goes through the factories in Delhi and makes sure that they're doing everything right. And then he goes up to Haridwar. So it's a lot of work. Of course, that was about 3 years ago. So he stopped by, and I asked him what yogic stance was, and he of course the cow's mouth, Okay, now the cow's mouth is a good exercise, but then he said something that stuck in my mind. He said that like you're going to put your hands up like this, okay. Well, when you're doing that, one of the heels is placed one way and one of the heels is placed another way. Like, just to get into it without talking, yeah. You put one foot above the other and you sit with the other heel, Okay, I haven't done it in so long and I'm not doing it quite properly. But then he said, some persons sit on the heel. Now, that heel is pressing inward, right? It's pressing right. I take a good guess. It's pressing right. I can't touch the prostate because it's on the other side of bones. But the blood supply to the prostate, some of it has to come through that area where my heel is. So I'm giving a pressure to a vein that's going in, and it's, from my point of view, it's like giving a little bit of a trouble to that vein to give the prostate its oxygen, like as if I was to come and hold your mouth and nose shut and not allow you to breathe. You'll come to a point of fighting just to breathe, right? So I think my prostate is a lazy bum, and and if I just cut his oxygen supply, that he's going to go into emergency mode. He's going to go into emergency mode and start looking around for what the heck to do, you know? I was really amazed the other day, someone talking about the prostate. It's said that the prostate is it's like the gland that is most affected by your emotions. The most. And not only is it most affected by the emotions, but it also supports, it gives the energy to support the emotion. But anger, frustration, and things like that, they really do damage. But the other positive emotions, and then it wants to help. So it's like this friend that really wants to help and can help. For us, you know, a difference between 7.3 and 7.4, not such a big deal, you know. But you know, that's an exponential line. It's not a linear line. It's an exponential line. It's going high. So even just one uh, point, you know, instead of 3, it's 4. That one increment is about 10 times, you know, although it's just point 0.4, you know. So it really makes a difference. So there's little gland down here, and it's such a little gland, but it's got so much emotions and so much support of emotions and so much, you know. Oof. Whenever I heard of people wanting to operate on their prostate, it's painful. Like, ooh, that's the last thing I'd like to do. Because also, I'm just guessing, but it's the one that makes the distinction whether the semen goes out through the genital or whether the semen goes to the vital fluid, the vital back fluid. You know, you have a fluid that goes up your back. So the person making the decision is the prostate. So you want to, like, be a little bit friendly with the prostate, and like right now, I'm sitting on this guy and making him hold his breath. That's from my point of view. It's not a doctor's point of view. But I don't see any other way to approach this that'll change the situation. And the more that I just balance myself on that heel, firmly going into the back end, because I'm sitting on it. Some persons, they even have a exercise where you take a tennis ball, you sit on the tennis ball, and you move back and forth, back and forth. Now, what is this doing? It is also moving that vein down there. It is hitting that vein, and it's motioning the vein to do something. So you can just sit. I didn't want to go buy a tennis ball. Why should I buy a tennis ball when I know that I can do an exercise? Yeah. I don't want to try to do the exercise completely. I'm tired. But you can look it up. It's the cow's mouth exercise. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So do that exercise. Sit on your heel And, I'm not just sitting without moving. I'm moving my foot back there. So it isn't just pressing one place. And I can move it so many ways. But the whole thing is that I want to wake my prostate up. Someone would say, no, it won't do. Well, I'll tell you, after doing it about 3 days, my underarms start smelling again. So I know that there's some definite connection on this asana and what is happening in the prostate. I think he's slowly waking up, moving around. And for us, it's important to know. I don't know which verse it is in the Bhagavatam, but Sanatan Goswami, in ecstasies, the ultimate liquid is sperm. The ultimate liquid is sperm in ecstasies. So a person would say, oh, the sperm comes out. No, if you're a successful yogi, either bhakti yogi or yogi, then what happens is the sperm goes up the back of the back. It may somewhat come out the front, but that's what it does. It goes up the back. It goes to your brain. Powerful. It's powerful. Yeah, it's powerful. It's just like, stem cells. Or you got a lot of T cells going up and giving energy. Okay, I'll leave it at that, I'll pass this by my doctor and see what the heck he says, because ultimately I'm without any answer. How am I going to wake this prostate up? No. And it definitely is taking a vacation. It's not wanting to move around. Yeah. Okay. Anyone knowing how to get the prostate to move around more, you can tell. I know you have to build up the pelvic muscle. And I do quite a few pelvic muscle exercises. But mine was probably just so on its inner way up of getting big. To make a prostate smaller, it's more difficult than if you try to stop the prostate from building up too much. You can do something to stop it from building up, but once it's so big, fourth stage, even when I was at Patanjali, they go, "Oh, you're at fourth stage," and it was like we can't do anything for you, They didn't say it like that, but it gave the impression like that. But shoo, you're already at fourth stage. Oh, oh, any responses? I'll, you can answer in the video, but I hardly ever go to the YouTube to see any comments. All these other doctors say I read all the comments. Well, I can firmly tell you I don't read any of the comments. I got so many other things to do. It's not that I don't think your comment is important. It's just that send it on my WhatsApp if you want to. Yeah. If you want to comment, just put it on my WhatsApp or something like that. It brings more attention than trying to find it on YouTube. Yeah, okay. Or find it in my Gmail. Uh, okay. I just hope what I'm, you know, it, it's worth something to me that if this helps somebody else out. I mean, definitely the cow's mouth exercise is worth doing. Because you have to put your hand and then the other hand down there, and I can never get my hands together. What I do is I tie a rope and then throw the rope over, and I pull the other hand up to get the other hand up. Uh, Give me another 2 or 3 days. I'll start doing that. I still got my little cloth too. Just throw the cloth over. The other hand grabs it, and I just pull the other hand up. It's not that hard to grab the other hand, and then that's the full asana. And then of course you do it. Oh, whoa, yeah. Then you do it on the other side too. Yeah, I think I'll do that one later on. Yeah. Okay. Hope it helps out because I'm not. I the most important thing is how to open the other canal. How to get the prostate to open the other canal that goes and gives the spinal fluid, vital spinal fluid to move. That is like that's like the ultimate. To see the uh, fluid because it has to come out. It cannot stay there. It stays there. It causes trouble. So then you come up to a point where I would feel fear telling somebody don't masturbate because you're not helping the flow. There it is. You're not helping the flow, and we are men. So all of a sudden you got a dilemma. You got a dilemma that is almost impossible to solve. Yeah. Oh, and somebody like myself, I don't want to lose a drop of that semen. I don't want to lose a drop. You know. But now if it doesn't move, all it's going to do is cause trouble. So I can't get upset at somebody else doing whatever they have to do about it. Yeah. Perhaps the asana, the brahmacharya asana, I've shown it. I don't know if you can do it nicely right now. I'm tired, but you know, just sit down and you just pull the ankles. I can't see the other ankle. Can't even see them. But I'm going to turn my back to you. Come on, little bag. Could you please move over there? Come on, I'm laughing about my bag. Been my friend for 9 years. it's helping me out. Okay, there you go. Yeah, get it down. Oh, don't try what I do, but I can do like that. No pain. No pain. Yeah, you'll feel pain right here. Ooh. And it's like this burning pain. That burning pain is got even a scientific name to it. And it's not just heat, it's like fire. It's accumulated fire in your body. And it accumulates in different places. So that is not good stuff. So even if you're not trying to be a brahmachari and you just want to live a little longer, move that, because that heat, and they call it fire, that heat is very bad. Yeah. Oh, come on, I move slow, Come here, little bag. I got it. I got it. Man. Oh, shoo. 24 hours a day, It's been my company 24. No. I was sitting on the back of one of those auto rickshaws. I was riding down the auto rickshaw, and one time, businessman, he had to catch the bus down at the junction, and he just started running towards the rickshaw, and he grabbed, because I like sitting in the back, I don't want to sit in the middle and side, can't even breathe in there. So I sitting in the back, and so he practically jumped on, pushed me over with his butt, and he sat on my bag. I am sitting on the bag. The little tube came open, and I saw the urine just go all over his pants. Oh, he was only going to ride about a block or two to catch his bus. So when he got off the auto rickshaw, I could see that he was all wet on one side, and I was looking at him, and then he started rubbing his pants, seeing that he was all wet and smelling his hands. That was it. Here he was, probably going for an interview or something, all decked out and beautiful, and he sat on my Euro bag. Oh my God! Sorry, I couldn't stop laughing. Uh, and some other things happened too. Uh, yeah, what they're doing. Anyways, I got this far with you, right? We're partners. Yeah. Okay. Uh, so that winds up the. No, you gotta laugh. If you don't laugh about this life, we don't live in the present. Take it, understand it. We don't know any present at all. No present at all. We have no intuitive thoughts about present. Om Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasra Sak Sahasra Pat Sabun Vishwato Dishta. That's Angulam. That first verse of Purusha Shuktam, it gives what you would call measurement, right? It gives measurement, distance. It gives distance. It gives measurement. But it doesn't give time. Om Purusham Dhat Puru. Okay, my Sanskrit isn't that well. But in the second verse, that second verse says or establishes the existence of past and establishes the existence of future. But when translated, the persons, they conclude, oh, this verse talks about past, present, and future. It doesn't talk about present because we don't live in present. Everything we do is past. Everything we're thinking of doing is future. We have no present. Even if I was to say I want to be present in front of you and be able to talk to you in the present tense, I am not able to. By the structure of this universe, no one lives in the present. The present is eternal. And Einstein even described as that present, it's riding next to future and past. It's there, it's existing even as future and past are there. It's existing. It's riding by. As I'm sitting here, all the eternal presence is there. It's the support. You cannot have past without the eternal presence being there. You cannot have future without the eternal presence there. There's no existence to that. Without the support of presence, there's no existence. So the Virat Purush, he's standing in the present. And he's indicating the past and he's indicating the future. But he's not existing in the past, nor is he existing in the future. He's always in the eternal presence. It's just, we have no reality. We have no reality. No reality that we can grab onto. No reality. Om Purushamidam Sarvam Yad Bhutam Yascha Vavyam Utam Rutam Yashasena Yan Animatirodi Prabhu Kipaya Swagatam Guru. That's when you ask the deity to come and sit down. Yeah. That was the whole plan of that Purusha Shuktam was a chant by Brahma giving praise to the Virat and worshipping the Virat. So of course he had to establish, whenever you do a sankalpa or anything like that, you have to establish where you are, what year is it, what time is it. You have to establish everything like that. Then you can start doing the sankalpa. So the two first verses are like that. That is just washing his feet. But then, the next one, it's actually divided. And Brahma is trying to include all living entities because he's saying this prayer and he's doing this worship to the Purusha Shukta and, the Purusha, the Viratu of Krishna. And he wants everybody to have benefit. So he doesn't make a distinction. Triparudaita Purusha Deva Puna Tato Ishvavikarma Sasandhi. Tripa just means, we're in the smaller point. There's three portions and there's one portion. So this is the just trying to give an indication that the spiritual world is tripad and that we are just one. We're pada. That verse is very good